Don't compare yourself with other people. Compare yourself with who you were yesterday. No one gets away with anything, ever, so take responsibility for your own life. Don't lie about anything, ever. Lying leads to hell. To master a new technology, you have to play with it. If you learn a martial art, you learn to be dangerous, but simultaneously, you learn to control it. Accept the terrible responsibility of life with eyes wide open. If you don't stand your ground, then all that happens is people push you backwards. When you start to realize how much of what you've constructed of yourself is based on deception and lies, that is a horrifying realization. It's very hard to find your own words, and you don't actually exist until you have your own words. It's not just human nature to associate in tribes, it's deeper than that. We have to rediscover the eternal values and then live them out. Life is tragic. You are tiny and flawed and ignorant and weak, and everything else is huge, complex, and overwhelming. It's not proper for the government to intrude too thoroughly into the domain of the family. It's inappropriate. There's no doubt that inequality destabilizes societies. I think the social science evidence on that front is crystal clear. Whether or not I like a piece of data has very little bearing on whether or not I am likely to accept it. The idea that women were oppressed throughout history is an appalling theory. The truth is something that burns. It burns off dead wood. And people don't like having the dead wood burned off, often because they're 95% dead wood. Power is competence. Women deeply want men who are competent and powerful. And I don't mean power in that they can exert tyrannical control over others. That's not power. That's just corruption. If you're talking to a man who wouldn't fight with you under any circumstances whatsoever, then you're talking to someone for whom you have absolutely no respect. You should do what other people do, unless you have a very good reason not to. You have to listen very carefully and tell the truth if you are going to get a paranoid person to open up to you. You can't go backward in life. It's in responsibility that most people find the meaning that sustains them through life. It's not in happiness. It's not an impulsive pleasure. It is more difficult to rule yourself than to rule a city. I don't tell people, you're okay the way that you are. That's not the right story. The right story is, you're way less than you could be. Music has an intrinsic meaning, which has always been mysterious to me. Happiness is a pointless goal. Free speech is not just another value. It's the foundation of Western civilization. Life is very difficult. One of the most ancient of religious ideas that emerges everywhere, I would say, is that life is essentially suffering. The masculine spirit is under assault. It's obvious. Men and women aren't the same, and they won't be the same. That doesn't mean that they can't be treated fairly. All things considered, there's nobody better for children than parents. I happen to be a big fan of Western civilization. I think it beats the hell out of tyranny and starvation. Once someone has spent enough time cultivating bad habits and biding their time, they are much diminished. Much of what they could have been has dissipated. If you're not going to be rewarded for your virtues, and instead you're going to be punished for them, then what's your motivation to continue? I have a hard time figuring out what kind of box to put me in, too, because I don't know exactly what's going on around me or why. But I need to stay outside of boxes because then I can look at what's inside of them without being part of them. Assuming if there's such a thing as reality, if you have a false relationship with it, how can you do anything but fail?